Hello and welcome back to another classic review on this channel, and today we're going to be reviewing Roman Holiday like it says in the title of this video. But before I get into the review, I have to say, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button if you enjoy this and want to see more videos like this in the future. And also, major spoiler alert for this movie. I'm not going to try to spoil everything, but you have been warned, so if I do spoil something, you've been warned. With that being said, let's get into the review. So, Roman Holiday came out in 1953, and surprisingly for the era in which it came out, it's only 2 hours long, which is not a long time. And I assume that's because it's a comedy, because, yeah, some of these older movies can get pretty long, and, maybe I think it's because it's a comedy that it's not that long, or it's kind of a comedy. Apparently it's a drama because it was Audrey Hepburn's first Oscar, I believe, and for her portrayal of Princess Anne. So it's I guess you would call it a drama with comedic elements in it. But I mean, a lot of dramas do have comedic elements in it. But I did enjoy that it wasn't long. Some of these movies that are longer tend to outstay their welcome, and I was very glad to see that this one did not. Now, this movie is pretty much white people problems, at least as far as the inciting incident of this movie is pretty much like white people problems as far as what Princess Anne does. Like, she runs away because she's tired of giving speeches. Really? Like, nowadays anybody would kill to work with just giving the same speech every couple of weeks, or giving like 3 or 4 speeches in a day. People would kill for that, but she runs away. And also, something that happens in this movie that is kind of weird is that the doctor, well, what happened was Princess Anne, she's like trying to go to sleep, but she can't really go to sleep, and she's like getting overwhelmed at her schedule for the next day. They call the doctor in, and then he like kind of checks her out, but not checks her out, but checks her for anything that medical related to be causing this her nervous breakdown. And what he does is he gives a new maybe not experimental drug, but a new drug to the princess. It's like NyQuil, man, because Princess Anne, then after the doctor leaves and her nanny or nurse or whatever she's called leaves, she runs away, or she goes out on the town for the night, and it's literally like Dayquil but to the nth degree, because she's out on the night and then she just dies. Like, she just dies and falls asleep on some bench somewhere. And it was like, okay, well, this drug is kind of strong. You sure you should have been giving that to the princess? But anyway, that's how Gregory Peck finds her. Finds her on the bench in the middle of the night. Hey, shouldn't be here. Takes her back to his place. Puts her to sleep. Or, well, doesn't put her to sleep, but puts her on the bed, and so on and so forth. They wake up the next day, and the next day you have Audrey Hepburn as Princess Anne. She wants to have a holiday. She pretty much wants to take like a day off and go sightseeing in Rome and do whatever she wants in Rome. And Gregory Peck's character of Joe Bradley is like, you know what? You're the princess. But I mean, he found out that she was the princess because he didn't know that. He found out the next day by a newspaper picture. He found out that she was the princess. Was like, hey, I'm a journalist. Maybe I can get the scoop of a lifetime here. Boom. Decides to take her out in the town. Decides not to tell her that he knows that she's the princess. And is like, hey, let's go out in the town. Let's do some stuff. And they go out in the town. And then he brings in his friend. Now, his friend, Eddie Albert, is the actor This guy who played Irving Radovich, I believe is how you pronounce his name in the movie, but that dude is funny. I mean, he's probably got the most to do with as far as comedy goes. Like, he's your comedic relief because Gregory Peck's character just, I mean, beats this guy up because Eddie Albert's character of Irving, he's like, wait a second, to Audrey Hepburn, he's like, you look like somebody, and then before he can get the words out, I mean, every time Gregory Peck is like, he either kicks him, trips him, drops a drink on him. It was funny in that it was like it took him so long to figure out that, hey, shut up, he was Eddie Albert, in my opinion, was I think one of the better parts of the movie. That's why he won his Oscar for this movie for supporting actor. I think he was a really cool part of the movie. I thought he brought a lot of levity to the movie, and I really enjoyed him as a character. Now, it's not taking anything away from Audrey Hepburn. She was pretty fun in this movie. Other than the whole white people problems, like it was her character was very well handled. And also Gregory Peck, like, this dude could have been the Batman. I like said this a few times to my sister when I was watching this. I was like, you know what, if Batman was made back in the 1950s, this guy would have been a sweet Batman. Not taking anything away from any of the Batman we have, but this dude, Gregory Peck, has an amazing scowl. I believe I said this back in my To Kill a Mockingbird review. He has a great scowl, so I think that if you had Batman and you use this dude, he has a great scowl. He's big. I mean, this dude is massive compared to some of the other characters in this movie. This guy's just big. He would have been a great Batman. I'm just saying. Gregory Peck is very good in this movie. He doesn't have a lot of the levity, a lot of the comedy to do in this movie, but that's fine. He's the character. He's not the main character. The main character is Princess Anne, but he's a very good second character to complement Audrey Hepburn. And the way that he plays the whole, you know, I know who you are, but I'm not going to tell you. He plays it very well. And I mean, like I said, just the way that he beats up and he tries to stop Irving, the character of Irving, from letting the cat out of the bag is just so funny. I thought that was their chemistry between those two characters is just off the charts. As far as story goes, this movie is actually pretty good. It has a straightforward story. There doesn't seem to me to be any problems with the story. I think it's all cool. I think the characters' decisions and what they do throughout the movie is very believable. I mean, other than the whole doctor giving the new drug to the discount Dayquil, or not discount, because this thing like really knocked her out. I mean, giving that new drug, other than giving the new drug to the princess, which totally could have killed her. I mean, this thing was like, whew. Other than that, I felt like every character had a valid excuse or a valid reason for what they did. And I thought that the story going from her just like, you know what, I gotta take a break, to running away to finding Gregory Peck's character, or him finding her, I guess, and then how they went on the holiday, how they had a pretty awesome time. I mean, Rome is pretty cool. I mean, of course, you're gonna have fun if you go on like sightseeing in Rome, and what they did was all fun. I like the story of it, the fact that, you know, Gregory Peck wasn't just like, you know what, you're a pretty face, I like you, let's fall in love. He actually had a motive as to why he was hanging out with her, besides the fact that she was, that she was a lady and that she was pretty and everything. He had a motive. And I mean, let's just be honest, if that was me, if I was Gregory Peck's character of Joe Bradley, I would have wrote this story out. I mean, I would have just got my $5,000, gone back to New York, and been like, hey, it is what it is. This is his job. He just takes a day off of work because he's got the greatest scoop, and then doesn't put it in. I would have put it in, but hey, I didn't write this story, so that's all cool with me. But what happens in the end, the fact that he doesn't write the story, the fact that they fall in love, it was like, okay, okay, come on, let's get on with it. And then it was very believable, and it's very realistic in that they don't end up together. I mean, she goes back and does her princess stuff. He goes back to his job, I guess, which, now he owes, because he made a bet with his editor, I assume, or his boss, whichever one it is. He made a bet with his boss that he would get this story for 500. Excuse me, I'm sorry, for $500, and he lost the bet, obviously, because he didn't turn in the story. So now he's getting his pay docked. So, dude, like, this guy's in a bad spot in life. Like, he's in Rome, getting pay docked. He's gambling every night. I mean, because in the beginning he was gambling. So, like, this dude's hurting for money. But I enjoyed that they didn't end up together. It was very nice that she wasn't just like, you know what, I'm gonna leave my royalty behind and go back. And then she went to the palace. They found her. It was all good. And I thought one of the best parts, well, the best moments, was when Eddie Albert's character gives her the pictures at the last press conference. Is like, hey, from your trip in Rome. And then she pulls out one picture, and it's her hitting one of the Men in Black, which is a cool thing in this movie. This movie inspired Men in Black, of course, which the picture of her hitting the Men in Black dude over the head with a guitar was pretty funny. I thought that was one of the better moments in the movie. And all in all, I think this is a really good movie. The story works really great. The characters work really cool. The characters all made rational decisions as to what they did. And yeah, I think this movie's pretty fun. So my verdict on this movie is going to be a definite watch. I mean, this is not particularly my kind of movie. That is the only reason that I am not putting it in a Blu-ray, but there is no reason that you shouldn't watch this movie. I think it's really fun for anybody of any age, and I just think it's a movie that anybody can enjoy at any time in their life, because it's not one of those movies that is like, oh, you have to have been through something similar to understand it. No, it's just a really fun movie with some cool characters, some really good acting, and a nice story. And that's why my verdict is an absolute watch. It's not my type of movie. That's why I'm not putting it in the Blu-ray. But definitely check this movie out if you haven't already. Well, there you go. That's my thoughts on it. But the more important thing is your thoughts. So I need you to go into the comment section down below and tell me your thoughts down there on this movie or my review of the movie. If you totally disagree with me, that's fine. I just want to have a discussion on this movie. So yeah, please go write a comment down below. Tell me your thoughts. And if, like I said before, if you enjoy this video and want to see more videos like this in the future, reviews of classic movies, reviews of current movies, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to get notified every time I put up a new video, you got to hit that little bell next to the subscribe button, and then when you click that, it'll take you to this little pop-up thing that says, are you sure? And then just click you're sure, and then it'll notify you every time I put up a new video. And if you really enjoy this and think it's worth it and think it's a good video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. It really helps me out. And thank you for watching this video.